Welcome to Australia for round one of the 2005 FIA Formula One World Championship. Once again, we're in Melbourne, where the Australian Grand Prix has been staged since 1996.
It's pole once again for Michael Schumacher. Once again, he's proved how fast he is around this racetrack. The McLaren of Kimi Raikkonen lines up next to him on the front row. He'll be quite pleased to be that.
With the first lap completed, the field looks like this. Schumacher leads. In second is Alonso. Kimi Raikkonen is right on his tail. Behind his teammate in fourth is Juan Pablo Montoya. Button is fifth, Jacques Villeneuve is sixth, Klein is seventh, and Fisichella is in eighth place.
Hold this position, you're in first place. Good work. This is your last lap.
Only one more lap to go and the current race order looks like this. Alonso leads. He's lapping faster than anybody else at the moment. Michael Schumacher is second. He's now the fastest man on the circuit. Raikkonen third. He's definitely beginning to fall behind now. Fourth is Montoya. Button is fifth. Jacques Villeneuve is just 2 seconds back. Klein is seventh. And Fisichella is in eighth place.
one of the Red Bull cars on the side of the track. That must be Klein. Klein is out of the race. And as the front runners approach the checkered flag, it's Alonso who takes first place in the Renault. Behind him in second is Michael Schumacher. Kimi Räikkönen holds on to third.
Here we are in Kuala Lumpur, the 2005 FIA Formula One World Championship, the Malaysian Grand Prix. Reliability is always a worry for the teams in the initial rounds of the championship, as Formula One travels the globe for the first 3 races, and development of the race cars is therefore relatively limited.
Conditions are perfect here today, and that should be reflected out on track this afternoon with an excellent race. With the first lap completed, the field looks like this. Montoya leads. Fernando Alonso has moved up into second. Barrichello third. Fourth, Kimi Raikkonen. Sato fifth. Giancarlo Fisichella is right on his tail. Jacques Villeneuve seventh. And Michael Schumacher is in eighth. Pablo Montoya is currently the fastest man on the circuit through the first sector.
Good stuff. You're putting your best time through sector one.
Only seconds to go before the leaders cross the line. It's Juan Pablo Montoya who gets the victory as he takes the checkered flag in first place. Fernando Alonso gets second, Rubens Barrichello third. Here we are at the Bahrain race circuit for only their second ever Grand Prix. This is round 3 of the 2005 World Championship. It's pole once again from Michael Schumacher. He was also on pole for last year's race here. Next to him in second place is Jenson Button. He's the first of the Michelin runners. Kimi Räikkönen starts from the second row. He put in a good solid run yesterday and will be fairly happy with that grid slot. Rubens Barrichello follows in 6th. He was obviously disappointed after yesterday and has left himself a fair bit to do during the race.
That looks like an engine failure for one of the Ferraris. It is, it's Michael Schumacher. Michael Schumacher is out of the Grand Prix.
With the first lap completed, the field looks like this. Alonso leads, Button is second, Kimi Räikkönen is right on his tail, Fisichella 4th, Barrichello 5th, Coulthard 6th, Sato is 7th, and Felipe Massa 8th. There's not long to go now, and the current top 8 look like this. Alonso leads, Button is second, Fisichella is third, Rubens Barrichello is right on his tail. That looks like an engine failure for one of the Saubers. It's Massa. Felipe Massa's race is over.
The rather short list of retirements is as follows. Michael Schumacher was forced out with a mechanical failure on the first lap.
Fernando Alonso has started to put his foot down. He's the fastest through the second sector so far today. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep this speed up. Here comes the leaders approaching the finish. Fernando Alonso powers across the finish line and takes the 10 points. In second place is Jenson Button. Giancarlo Fisichella's third.
Welcome to Imola for the San Marino Grand Prix. Together with the Italian Grand Prix at Monza, this race attracts the largest number of tifosi due to the close proximity to Maranello, birthplace of the Ferrari legend. Apart from this being one of two of Ferrari's home Grand Prix, the grandstands are also full of supporters for Italian drivers Giancarlo Fisichella and Jarno Trulli. The temperature has risen since this morning when it was a little cooler than expected. The sun is now out and the conditions are perfect. We should be set for a very good race. That's an engine failure. I think that's a Williams under all that smoke. That's Mark Webber. Mark Webber retires from the race. With the first lap completed, the field looks like this. Schumacher leads. Fisichella is second. Raikkonen third.
Michael's got the lead. Final lap. Well done. Your consistent driving is moving up the field well. That's a great last sector. Quickest time you've been through there.
As the front runners approach the checkered flag, it's a magnificent win for that man, Michael Schumacher. A good second for Giancarlo Fisichella. Kimi Raikkonen holds on to third.
Welcome once again to this year's 2005 FIA Formula One World Championship.
Rubens Barrichello will head the field. That's two in a row. Second on the grid is David Coulthard. He's the first of the Michelin runners. Giancarlo Fisichella will start from third. Heading row 3 is Takuma Sato. Juan Pablo Montoya will start from 7th. 10th is Jacques Viilleneuve. And 13th place goes to Tiago Monteiro. He'll be quite pleased to be that far up the grid. Lining up directly behind his Toyota teammate is Jarno Trulli. He claimed his first podium of the season here last year. Alongside him in 16th place we find Christian Albers. Patrick Freisacher qualified 17th and will start today's race from row 9. On the last row in 19th place is Heidfeld. Well, he'd like to have been higher up today, but he just made... With the first lap completed, the field looks like this. Barrichello leads. In second, it's Alonso. David Coulthard is unable to match his pace and is falling behind in third. Giancarlo Fisichella is right on his tail. Montoya is fifth.
That's one of the Red Bull cars on the side of the track. That must be Klein. Klein is out of the race.
Only seconds to go before the leaders cross the finish line. Fernando Alonso powers across the finish line and takes the 10 points. Second place for Rubens Barrichello. David Coulthard takes third place.
Welcome once again to the 2005 FIA Formula One World Championship and this year's Monaco Grand Prix here in Monte-Carlo.
Former world champion Jacques Viilleneuve lines up on pole. That's his first pole of the season. Next to him in second place is McLaren's Juan Pablo Montoya. He'll be quite pleased to be that far up the grid. Michael Schumacher lines up right behind them. Row 3 and 5th place for Kimi Raikkonen, lining up directly behind his Red Bull teammate.
With the first lap completed, the field looks like this. Jacques Viilleneuve leads. Montoya is second. Third is Michael Schumacher. David Coulthard is right on his tail. Klein is fifth. Raikkonen sixth. Fisichella seventh. And Takuma Sato is in eighth. So far, there have been no retirements.
Not long to go now, and the current top 8 looks like this. In first place is Jacques Viilleneuve. Montoya is second. Third is Michael Schumacher. David Coulthard is just 2 seconds back. Christian Klein is in fifth behind his teammate. Raikkonen sixth, Alonso seventh, and Fisichella is in 8th place.
P6, sixth position.
Like an engine failure for one of the Ferraris. It is! It's Michael Schumacher! Michael Schumacher is out of the Grand Prix.
You're running in fourth. Good second sector. You're best so far for this session.
Here come the front runners approaching the checkered flag. It's Canadian Jacques Viilleneuve who gets the checkered flag, while Pablo Montoya comes in second. David Coulthard finishes third.
It's the European Grand Prix, round 7 of the 2005 FIA Formula 1 World Championship here at the famous Nurburgring in Germany. The first of 2 Grand Prix held on German soil. This is the first of 2 Grand Prix held on German soil, and it may feel like another home Grand Prix for Ferrari as the grandstands are filled by a sea of red. But apart from Michael Schumacher, his brother Ralph always goes well at this venue, and no doubt will be hoping for great things today in front of the home crowd. Conditions are perfect here today, clear skies and perfect temperatures on and off the track. The forecast is also good, and we expect it should stay like this for the whole race. First lap completed, the field looks like this. Barrichello leads, Michael Schumacher is second, Fernando Alonso fights his way up to third, Coulthard fourth, Mark Webber is right on his tail, Fisichella's sixth, Klein is seventh, and Trulli is eighth.
You're in second place.
One of the Red Bull cars on the side of the track. That must be Klein. Klein is out of the race.
Number one, you're leading, first place.
One more lap to go and the current race order looks like this. Barrichello leads, in second is Alonso, third is Michael Schumacher. Coulthard fourth, he's definitely beginning to fall back now. Webber is in fifth place, Jarno Trulli is 4 seconds back, seventh is Button, and in eighth place Juan Pablo Montoya.
Okay, you're currently running in first position. fast since you've been through the second sector in this section.
Fernando Alonso has started to put his foot down. He's the fastest through the second sector so far today. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep this speed up.
Here come the front runners, approaching the checkered flag. It's Alonso that takes first place in the Renault. A respectable second for Barrichello, third for Michael Schumacher. It's round 8 of the FIA Formula One World Championship, the Canadian Grand Prix from Montreal, the Gilles Viilleneuve circuit on the Ile de Notre Dame in the St. Lawrence Seaway. Jacques Villeneuve may have won the World Championship, his father Gilles never managed, but he's never won this race, unlike his father. It's a real favourite with the drivers and always attracts a huge crowd of well over 100,000 spectators. Conditions are perfect here today, and that should be reflected out on the track this afternoon with an excellent race.
Try and maintain this driving. You're moving superbly to the field.
With the first lap completed, the field looks like this. Raikkonen leads. Michael Schumacher is second. Rubens Barrichello is right behind his teammate in third. Coulthard fourth. Fisichella is fifth. Felipe Massa is right on his tail. Alonso seventh. And Jacques Villeneuve eighth.
You're making good progress moving up the pack.
Only one more lap to go and the current race order looks like this. Raikkonen leads. He's now the fastest man on the circuit. Michael Schumacher is second. Barrichello third. Fernando Alonso trails him by 3 seconds. Coulthard is fifth. Fisichella sixth. Massa seventh. Jacques Villeneuve trails his teammate and is eighth.
You put in a really fast time for that sector. It's the best you've done all session.
It's the familiar figure of Kimi Raikkonen, who's fastest through the first sector.
That is just about the fastest you've been through the second sector in this session.
Fernando Alonso has started to put his foot down. He's the fastest through the second sector so far today. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep this speed up. And as the front runners approach the checkered flag, it's the McLaren of Kimi Raikkonen that gets the checkered flag. Behind him in second is Michael Schumacher. Rubens Barrichello third.
We're here at the world-famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway, home of the US Grand Prix. Hello and thanks for joining us. The US Grand Prix continues to draw bigger and bigger crowds every year, and the enthusiasm and atmosphere is hard to resist. Using parts of the famous oval, the circuit has a unique mixture of tight and twisty infield section married with the power-hungry straight along the pit lane. It's also as close to a home Grand Prix for one Pablo Montoya as it gets. He won the Indy 500 before coming into Formula One, and he still has a massive amount of support over here. Conditions are perfect here today, clear skies and perfect temperatures on and off the track. The forecast is also good, and we expect it should stay like this for the whole race. Looks like an engine failure for one of the Ferraris. It is, it's Michael Schumacher. Michael Schumacher is out of the Grand Prix.
With the first lap completed, the field looks like this. Montoya leads, in second is Alonso, third is Sato, Rubens Barrichello is right on his tail, Coulthard is fifth, Raikkonen sixth, Massa seventh and Button eighth. Only one more lap to go and the current race order looks like this. Montoya leads. He started to get away from Fernando Alonso. Takuma Sato is right on his tail. Fourth is Barrichello. Kimi Raikkonen fifth. Coulthard sixth. Massa seventh. And Button eighth.
You put in a really fast time for that sector. It's the best you've done all session.
It's Fernando Alonso who's fastest through the first sector. Here come the leaders approaching the finish. Fernando Alonso powers across the finish line and takes the 10 points, while Pablo Montoya comes in second. Barrichello finishes third.
And here we are, round 10 of the 2005 FIA Formula One World Championship, the French Grand Prix at Magny-Cours.
It's pole once again for Michael Schumacher. That's his fourth pole of the season. The McLaren of Kimi Raikkonen lines up next to him on the front row. He'll be quite pleased to be that far up the grid. Third place belongs to Takuma Sato. Lining up beside him is his teammate Jenson Button. Rubens Barrichello starts from 5th. Fisichella is next in 6th. Juan Pablo Montoya will start from 7th. Christian Klein is 8th on the grid. Massa is 11th. Heidfeld lines up 12th. He was obviously disappointed after yesterday and he's left himself a fair bit to do during the race. 15th is Mark Webber. Behind him is teammate Thiago Monteiro. He said he was fairly happy with his run yesterday. The car just wasn't quick enough. Hopefully the conditions today will suit him better. And bringing up the rear is the Renault of Fernando Alonso. He was on pole here last year and led for the first 32 laps, until finally being overtaken by a four-stopping Michael Schumacher. First lap completed, the field looks like this. Schumacher leads, second is Sato. Kimi Raikkonen is right on his tail, fourth is Barrichello, Button is fifth, Fisichella's sixth, Montoya seventh, and Alonso is eighth.
Michael's got the lead, final lap. You're moving on the field, well done.
The Ferrari of Michael Schumacher has set the fastest time through the first sector.
It's Fernando Alonso who's fastest through the first sector.
It's world champion Michael Schumacher that is fastest through the second sector. Here comes the leaders approaching the finish. It's a magnificent win for that man, Michael Schumacher. Following him in second is Takuma Sato. Coming in third is Raikkonen. Hello and welcome to the FIA Formula One British Grand Prix. It's pole once again from Michael Schumacher. He's been very impressive in qualifying this year and will start from the front row of the field yet again. Rubens Barrichello is right alongside him in the second Ferrari. Colombian Juan Pablo Montoya lines up in third. He'll be pretty pleased to be that far up the grid. Starting from fourth is Italian Giancarlo Fisichella. Jenson Button starts today's race from fifth. With the first lap completed, the field looks like this. Schumacher leads. Rubens Barrichello follows his teammate in second. Montoya is third. Fisichella fourth. Button is fifth. Fernando Alonso is right on his tail. In seventh is Raikkonen. And in eighth place is David Coulthard.
You're making good progress moving up the pack. Michael's got the lead, final lap. Great time for that last sector. Fastest lap time, you just posted the quickest time so far. Keep it up.
With only one lap remaining, the top 8 drivers at the moment are Schumacher leads. He started to get away from Rubens Barrichello. Fernando Alonso is right on his tail. Fourth is Montoya. Fisichella is fifth. Jenson Button in sixth. In seventh is Raikkonen. And in eighth place is David Coulthard.
P2, repeat, P2.
Here come the front runners, approaching the checkered flag. It's a magnificent win for that man, Michael Schumacher. Fernando Alonso gets second. Rubens Barrichello third. We're at one of the best race circuits on the calendar, the Hockenheimring in Germany, for the German Grand Prix of this year's 2005 FIA Formula One World Championship. Last year's winner here was Michael Schumacher, but the race also saw a fantastic performance from British driver Jenson Button as he drove from 13th on the grid to cross the line in second place. Conditions are perfect here today, clear skies and perfect temperatures on and off the track. The forecast is also good and we expect it should stay like this for the whole race. Looks like a Toyota engine has let go in a big way. That's Trulli's car for sure. Jarno Trulli is out of the race. With the first lap completed, the field looks like this. Raikkonen leads, Button is second. Michael Schumacher is right on his tail. Fourth is Barrichello. Alonso fifth. Klein is sixth. Montoya seventh. And Fisichella is in eighth place.
come the front runners, approaching the checkered flag. Kimi Räikkönen races across the line to claim top spot on the podium. Following him in second is Button, Michael Schumacher third.
You join us for what's bound to be an action-packed Hungarian Grand Prix live from Budapest. Last year saw Ferrari seal the Constructors' title at the Hungaroring, with 5 races still remaining. Michael Schumacher took his 12th victory of the season, and teammate Barrichello took second on the podium.
The temperature has risen since this morning when it was a little cooler than expected. The sun is now out and the conditions are perfect. We should be set for a very good race. It looks like a Toyota engine has let go in a big way. That's Trulli's car for sure. Jarno Trulli is out of the race.
You're moving on the field, well done.
With the first lap completed, the field looks like this. Fisichella leads. Fernando Alonso follows his teammate in second. Montoya is third. Rubens Barrichello is right on his tail. In fifth is Michael Schumacher. Sixth is Massa. In seventh is Raikkonen. And Button eighth.
There's been just one retirement from the Grand Prix so far. Jarno Trulli made an early exit from the Grand Prix on the first lap.
The fastest lap of the race. Good work. This is your last lap.
With only one lap remaining, the top 8 drivers at the moment are Alonso leads. He's just set the fastest lap of the race. Fisichella is second, Montoya is third. Fourth is Barrichello. In fifth is Michael Schumacher. Sixth is Massa. Kimi Raikkonen is right on his tail. And Button eighth.
Great time for sector 1. Keep it going.
It's Fernando Alonso, who is the fastest through the first sector. Fernando Alonso has started to put his foot down. He's the fastest through the second sector so far today. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep this speed up.
And as the front runners approach the finish line, Fernando Alonso powers across the finish line and takes the 10 points. Second place for Fisichella. Juan Pablo Montoya gets third. Hello and welcome to the first ever Turkish Grand Prix, live from the beautiful city of Istanbul. Rubens Barrichello will head the field. That makes it 2 in a row. Next to him in second place is McLaren's Juan Pablo Montoya. He put in a good solid run yesterday and will be fairly happy with that grid slot. Michael Schumacher lines up directly behind his Ferrari teammate. Row 3 and 5th place for Kimi Raikkonen. Klian is 9th. 10th is Jarno Trulli. Following them is the Toyota of Ralf Schumacher. Nick Heidfeld is next. He was obviously disappointed after yesterday and he's left himself a fair bit to do during the race. 15th is Albers. Beside him is teammate Patrick Freisecker. David Coulthard qualified 17th and will start the race from row 9. In 18th, it's Thiago. First lap completed, the field looks like this. Barrichello leads. Michael Schumacher follows his teammate in second. Montoya's third. Fourth, Kimi Raikkonen. Button is fifth. Sato is sixth. Jacques Viilleneuve is right on his tail. And Felipe Massa is eighth.
Fast time for that sector. It's the best you've done all session.
It's Fernando Alonso, who is the fastest through the first sector.
You have this position. Great time for sector 2. Keep it up.
Fernando Alonso has started to put his foot down. He's fastest through the second sector so far today. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep this pace up.
Here comes the leaders approaching the finish. A victorious Barrichello thunders across the finish line and wins the race. Behind him in second is Michael Schumacher, while Pablo Montoya gets third.
Hello and welcome to Monza, easily the fastest Grand Prix track in the world and the home of the Italian Grand Prix. Enthusiasm and passion for Ferrari is taken to new extremes at this race every year, and this year is no exception. A sea of red wherever you look, and the prancing horse is emblazoned on thousands of flags, caps and t-shirts. This crowd doesn't care who's on the front row of the grid as long as it's Ferrari. Monza is a real power circuit, and it's usually the teams with the best engines who are fighting for pole position. We should see both Williams and Ferrari setting the pace here today. Conditions are perfect here today, and that should be reflected out on the track this afternoon with an excellent race.
There's smoke coming from the back of one of the BARs. That must be Sato. Takuma Sato is out of the Grand Prix.
With the first lap completed, the field looks like this. Barrichello leads, Montoya is second, third is Michael Schumacher, Coulthard fourth, Jacques Viilleneuve is right on his tail, sixth is Massa, Ralf Schumacher is seventh, and Fisichella is in eighth place. Reliability has yet to be a factor in today's race, with just one retirement so far. Takuma Sato had his race ended prematurely when mechanical problems forced him out on lap number 1.
You're in 13th place at the moment.
Fernando Alonso started to put his foot down. He's the fastest with the second sector so far today. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep this speed up.
Here come the front runners approaching the checkered flag. A victorious Barrichello thunders across the finish line and wins the race, while Pablo Montoya comes in second. Third for Michael Schumacher.
It's the Belgian Grand Prix once again, and this is the 2005 FIA Formula One World Championship.
It's pole position for Giancarlo Fisichella. That's his second of the season. The McLaren of Kimi Raikkonen lines up next to him on the front row. He put in a good solid run yesterday and will be fairly happy with that grid slot. David Coulthard is third. Juan Pablo starts today's race from fifth. Christian Klein is seventh. Alongside him is Jarno Trulli. Jenson Button will start 10th. Well, he'd like to have been higher up today, but he just made too many mistakes in single lap qualifying. Massa is 11th. He's the highest placed Bridgestone shod car. Rubens Barrichello is 12th. And 13th is Mark Webber. It's 14th for Jacques Viilleneuve. 15th for Ralf Schumacher. Behind him in 16th place we find Thiago Monteiro. In 18th it's Albers. On the last row in 19th place is Patrick Freisacker. And bringing up the rear is the Renault of Fernando Alonso.
The first lap completed, the field looks like this. Fisichella leads. He started to get away from Fernando Alonso. David Coulthard is right on his tail. Fourth, Kimi Raikkonen. In fifth is Michael Schumacher. Montoya sixth. Trulli seventh, and Takuma Sato is in eighth. There's not long to go now, and the current top 8 look like this. Viilleneuve leads. He's now the fastest man on the circuit. In second is Alonso. He's really starting to fall behind now. Coulthard is third. Fourth, Kimi Raikkonen. Michael Schumacher is right on his tail. Montoya sixth. Trulli seventh, and Takuma Sato is in eighth.
Good stuff. You're putting your best time through Sector 1. Putting your best time through Sector 2.
Fernando Alonso has started to put his foot down. He's fastest through the second sector so far today. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep this pace up. And as the front runners approach the finish line, it's an unbelievable victory for Giancarlo Fisichella. Fernando Alonso gets second. David Coulthard takes third place. We're here in Interlagos, 2.7 miles of tortuous and somewhat scary tarmac on the outskirts of Sao Paulo. This is the Brazilian Grand Prix. This Grand Prix is always a very colourful affair, and even though the facility itself is not on a par with the rest of the venues on the Grand Prix calendar, the track has produced some great races over the years. The crowd will certainly be gunning for local hero Rubens Barrichello.
The temperature has risen since this morning when it was a little cooler than expected. The sun is now out and the conditions are perfect. We should be set for a very good race.
With the first lap completed, the field looks like this. Montoya leads. Michael Schumacher is right on his tail. Rubens Barrichello is right behind his teammate in third. Fourth, Kimi Raikkonen. Alonso fifth. Fisichella sixth. Massa's seventh. And in eighth place is David Coulthard.
Okay, you're currently in fourth place. Just started his last lap from first place. That's the fastest you've been through the first sector this session.
It's Fernando Alonso, who is the fastest through the first sector. Here comes the leaders approaching the finish. Fernando Alonso powers across the finish line and takes the 10 points, when Pablo Montoya comes in second. Third for Michael Schumacher. Welcome to the land of the rising sun, Suzuka, home of the Japanese Grand Prix for the penultimate round of the 2005 FIA Formula One World Championship.
It's pole once again for Michael Schumacher. He's been very impressive in qualifying this year and will start from the front of the field yet again. Next to him in second place is McLaren's Juan Pablo Montoya. He's the first of the Michelin runners. Kimi Raikkonen starts the second row. He'll be quite pleased to be that far up the grid. Starting from fourth is Italian Giancarlo Fisichella. Fifth is Christian Klien. Next is Jacques Villeneuve. Barrichello starts from 10th. Well, he'd like to have been higher up today, but he just made too many mistakes in single-lap qualifying. Directly behind his teammate is a Williams of Mark Webber. Next is Takuma Sato. 14th is Felipe Massa. First lap completed, the field looks like this. Schumacher leads. Montoya is second. Welcome to the Chinese Grand Prix from Shanghai, the final round of this year's 2005 FIA Formula One World Championship. Welcome to the Chinese Grand Prix from Shanghai, the final round of this year's 2005 FIA Formula One World Championship. We're here at the magnificent international race circuit, which is a mixture of fast straights and complex twisting infield sections. This race should be very open, and we're going to be in for another superb Grand Prix.
Conditions are perfect here today. Clear skies and perfect temperatures on and off the track. An engine failure for one of the Minardis. That's Albers. Christian Albers will take no further part in today's race.
First lap completed, the field looks like this. Raikkonen leads, Montoya is second, Coulthard third, fourth is Alonso, Jenson Button is right on his tail, sixth is Michael Schumacher, Sato is seventh, and Barrichello is eighth. Looks like an engine failure for one of the Ferraris. It is, it's Michael Schumacher. Michael Schumacher is out of the Grand Prix.
That's an engine failure. I think that's a Williams under all that smoke. That's Mark Webber. Mark Webber retires from the race.
This is the last lap of the race. far. Number 1, you're leading, first place. That's the fastest you've been through the first sector this session.
It's Fernando Alonso, who is the fastest through the first sector. Fernando Alonso started to put his foot down. He's the fastest through the second sector so far today. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep this speed up.
Here come the front runners approaching the finish. Fernando Alonso powers across the finish line and takes the 10 points. Kimi Raikkonen is second. Juan Pablo Montoya gets third.